Hey guys, Chris here at TT120. Not my normal surroundings, obviously. We're down in London at the Ali Pally at the London Festival of Modelling, and which is today's been set up day, so I'm still in my work gear, and I forgot my Peachy T-shirt. You'll have to forgive me. Anyway. Why am I so pleased with myself? Well, we've got the J50. We've got Hornby's brand new. This is well, the J50 hasn't come out yet. Obviously, you guys know that. But what I've got my hands on is the running sample, which is, but it's also the printed, or at least the body's printed. You will notice when we do the video, you'll see that the chassis hasn't been sprayed black. But actually, it's been quite helpful to see what's going on with it with an unpainted chassis. Very impressed with it. So let's crack on with the video, shall we? Oh, and there's a little bit of running on Camelot towards the end. Hope you enjoy. Take care. Right, let's start with the weight to see if it's been improved. Here we go. 72 grams. Well, that will be the die cast. We'll be having a look at that in a little bit. How does that compare to the 08, the much maligned when it comes to pulling power? 47. Well, that should make a massive difference. So here she is. Let's get zoomed in. Look at this beautiful work. Now, what I was amazed, now let's start. The brass work and this extra wire at the side, that's the linkage. All these extra little details are on here. So much more than I was expecting. You don't get this close on the but it's behind the case now. You know, it's a little bit bent here and there, and that's because there's a bit of wear and tear. This has done the rounds, according to a lot of shows. All that under frame will be sprayed black, I believe, apart from maybe that little bit of mechanism inside. I think that's going to be shown bright. But look at it. Stunning. If I didn't say the word crisp, I'd get a WhatsApp message from Mac Trains. Now, notice that the irons on the back, the lamp irons on the back are cast, but I believe when we get round there, there's a nice little bit of coal, although I still think that coal's a bit overscale. Let's look inside. look at all the... I'll turn this around and see if I can get to the other side and see if I can look through, but you'll notice from the front here that there's a whole series of lamp irons here that are actually independent, or whether they're cast separately or not, but they're super nice to see. Yeah, try and get the light in there. There's some really nice detail in there. Of course, as soon as you put some model figures in, they might be a little bit harder to see. Let's try and zoom in so I can get some more light in there. I can't really. I can see into it better than I can via this camera lens, but there you go. It's amazing what the guys are up to down there in Margate when it comes to designing this stuff. Can you get a better shot? No. Let's try and move forward from this. Okay, let's see if we can get a closer focus of some of the slightly under detailed. Now, I've noticed that in this one there's the holes for it, but I imagine they've got that under frame clip-on thing, which comes as an extra. That probably come with an extra pack. You know, the brake rods. To be honest, I've taken mine off of all of my A1s and A3s and A4s just because they can be a little bit problematic, and I never see them, and it's not living in the showcase. But there she is. What a stunner. What do we do next? Now, I wonder, do you think I'll get shot if I open it up? Well, he who dares. Let's get the screwdriver out. Look away now, Carl. But first of all, I want to highlight. Actually, if I can highlight how detailed that front end is. It's beautiful. Right, let's have a little neb underneath. So there's 4 obvious screws I can initially see. I'll undo these and we'll see what happens. But let's just speed this bit up. Now, interestingly, nothing wants to move. So I'm thinking they're not the right screws. Let's have a little we'll have a little look around, see if we can find some other screws, shall we? So after removing the coupling, I noticed tucked behind the NEM pocket is a little screw. I'm going to talk about that NEM pocket in a minute because I'm really quite impressed with that new design. So a little screw there, and let's put that somewhere in a safe place. And there was one on the front as well. Those two little fellas, one either end. Now let's see if she pops apart. I'm nervous about doing. It lifts fine. I didn't want to pull it up by any of the mechanisms, so up it comes. Ooh, that's a very skinny mechanism with no space inside. So, right, what should we look at first? What are those big screws holding in then? Metal plates on the inside. Right, well, so let's put these screws back in. Now these 4 screws that go up into the underside of the tanks, they are actually holding in something. So once my big hand's out of the way. So you've got a die cast bottom, and then inside there's lumps of metal as well. That's where all the extra weight comes from. So the actual tanks are full of weight. Clever. So the outside's plastic and printed, and those steps, buffer beam, and that bottom rail there, that's all, that foot plate, that's all die cast, and then you've got these big lumps of metal that fill the whole side of those tanks. I like that idea. I also like that it shows that detail there just above that step is separate. So there's always die cast, tink, tink, tink. That's where the weight's coming from. Love it. Now I wonder if you removed all of that, would you have enough space in there for an 8-pin? Well, probably, but yeah, well, I'm not so sure I want to do that though. Not with a 6-pin being so not so far away. Now it's noticeable they've got a really skinny little 3-pole in there and a flywheel. Plenty of space here for the slightly bigger 6-pin, because that I held in my hands the Bluetooth 6-pin, and that'll fit there perfectly. Now that's the front and that's the back. So I'm trying to work out which is the best way of. So which one has the void? Right. Okay. So there probably is space at the front for someone a clever chap like Richard Bayliss to muck about and put a 6-pin in, an 8-pin in there. I've got a feeling it might involve some carving. I don't fancy that. Now this is interesting. At the back here, where the coal bunker is, there's a huge chamber. Nothing goes in there. That's more than big enough for either a big Hornby Stay Alive or the Asuka Cube speaker with the Nano Stay Alives, I think. Yeah, big void. I don't know if I get an 8-pin there without carving things up, which I don't want to do. I don't want to be chopping that stuff up. So yeah, I got a feeling on initial inspection, I think this won't be getting a warranted conversion. We'll leave the conversion to individuals and to clever chaps like Richard Bayliss Bespoke Designs to do that. That's my gut feeling at first. Until I've got my own one to chop up, I'm certainly not going to chop this one up. That might be considered just a little bit rude. So we might leave that be, but hopefully I can get some shots here in some light so you can see the metalwork inside there. Can you see all that lot? And of course, if you take that metalwork out to put something in there, then you're really going to want to try and replace that with maybe lead, which you're going to have to do yourself. To try and get that weight back, because I've got a feeling the weight is going to be amazing. Yeah, great space. Lots of screwdriver wobbling around showing you how much space and all that kind of malarkey. That's enough of that. Let's go look at that chassis. First impressions, it's a weighty chassis. I assume this is going to be sprayed black. Now you'll see some bits of tape on the side there by the motor. They're there helping hold this in because this isn't the final design. This is only like a running sample. I think Carl told me that we're going to be a slightly bigger cordless motor going in there with some decent clips. I'd imagine there's going to be some kind of tray design as well, because at the moment there's just a thin bit of clear plastic going over the worm gear there. But all in all, I think it's a superb design. It's a step forward, isn't it? Let's play. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. It's a cracking little loco. I was really, when I opened it up, I was quite gobsmacked about some of the design stuff they've implemented with it, some of the lessons they've learned, like the extra piece that covers the kinematic couplings to stop those springs bouncing out like we've had with the 08. That's brilliant. The weight they've put in there, the space they've actually left behind for us for maybe a speaker or sterilizer in the future in that coal, and the coal bunker. And the detailing on it, it's just sublime. It's a lovely little loco, much better than I thought they were actually going to be, because you can't really get close to them when they're in a glass case, but we actually can get up and really close with the camera. I think it really shows them off. Onwards and upwards, I guess. I've had another peek behind the curtain when I went down to Margate, and I know what's coming in the future. And I was as similarly impressed with those as I was with this. And yeah, I'm just so excited about what's happening in TT120. This is going to be an absolutely stellar year for all of us who are really into this scale, and for new people who want to come and join in. Come and dive in. The water's lovely. Right. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and ring the little bell and all that malarkey. And take care. See you soon. Cheery bye.
And that's all there is to tell. I'll be on my way now, sir. I've got urgent business in the south. I have to meet a man at Marlborough Junction.